So this is the first kind of post I've ever done for a book review. In the past, I've only done movie reviews on YouTube. So this is the first of its kind. Hopefully I won't be too nervous. I'm usually camera shy at first, but once I get into it, I usually just, ramble. So today's book review is The Legend of Zelkova by S.L. Vaden. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Who the fluff is this? Why should we care? Well, I'm L.D. Walters. I am an author. I was published in Scarlet Leaf Review magazine online back in 2021, and for a short story called A New Dynasty of an Old Story. You should go check it out. It's up on my website. You can find the link through my website, through my Instagram, I am no longer on Twitter as of a couple months ago because I just didn't like the rebranding thing. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about S.L. Vaden. Now, her first book I read 2 years ago. It was called Elementum, and it was fantabulous. I tell you what, it had everything. It had twists, it had turns, it was like a soap opera. It was awesome, but it was better than a soap opera. Alright? It was like a Lord of the Rings soap opera, but better. Anyways, that was a bad comparison. Anyways, in her book, she killed off her main character, which I thought, well, that's pretty bold to do in the first book. But there's a reason why she did. Alright? So, we got Umbrus now. So, it's been 200 years since Zelkova gave her life to try and defeat Tempest from taking over her world, right? And in doing so, she had to sacrifice her life. Now, this story centers more around Omnia and Spiro. Omnia is a girl from Silva that was basically attacked, assaulted, and this handsome, glorious man, Spiro. Yeah, I have a crush on this guy because she describes it so wonderfully. He comes and saves her, and from there, it all goes to hell. Let's just say that. She touches a stone which fills her with darkness. And so now she's trying to battle these two sides of her, light and dark. But then at the same time, Spiro gets darkness inside of him. So it's like, oh shoot, they're both screwed. But no. Umbrus, these are spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, don't watch this video. I should have said that at the beginning. Oops. Now Umbrus, we see the return of Zelkova, which I cheered for. Yes! and she takes on a different form. She has all the powers of the elements now, so she looks more rock, more wooden rockish than flesh. So she comes and says, oh yeah, I could fix you. It's gonna take some time. Meanwhile, Omnia, she's like got this whole other personality inside her head, like coming alive, which is the darkness inside of her, and she calls her inane. And they basically become like sisters. But they're their own separate people, which is so cool. And we also see the return of Ilix and Arya, which are wind elementals. Ilix actually was one of Zelkova's companions from the first book, who traveled with her. So it was awesome to see that. And, let's see. Her descriptions are more on point. Her landscape descriptions still need a lot of work, and keep in mind this is from an indie author. This is not from a publishing house author, so be kind. Alright? Just be kind. Alright, publishing house authors, they have like resources like proofreaders and everything. Indie authors don't. They do it all their own. And that's what makes them so incredible. They have to proofread it themselves. They have to be their editor. They have to be, their cover designer, or they hire a cover designer, or they hire, someone to proofread it for them, like with betas and alphas and stuff like that. But she did a wonderful job of formatting, a wonderful job of hiring somebody to do the cover. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Her artist is unfortunately no longer taking commissions, which is pretty sad. They decided to go on and do something else because they're super duper talented. Look at that cover. Oh my gosh. Like, seriously. AI's got nothing on you. Anyways. In Umbrus, there's many different challenges that arrive also from Zelkova. Right. So it is in third person narrative and multiple POVs. But one thing I did love, she didn't head hop. And that's from jumping one person's thought into another, like just randomly, like from an omniscient POV, like a godly POV. But she didn't do that, and I loved it. Now, her action descriptions were on point, and they made me want to delve in deeper into this world that she had created, get to know the characters more, and see how Zelkova has grown. And it's wonderful. And we also see the return of her brother Pyrus and Sten, which were previously, what did I say? Not fossilized, encased in stone. Alright, so they were fossilized for 200 years. But not in that way. It's not like you see their bones or anything. It's like they were just encased and then they were trapped. And they are the cutest couple ever. I love Sten and Pyrus. And then, of course, what I love about S.L. Vaden is that she is the most inclusive author I've ever seen. Not only does she do characters of color, but her characters are also gay. Some of them. And I love that because it's like representation does matter, especially for people who feel like that they don't have a voice and they want to see themselves in these characters. Let's see. Vaco, she refers to it as they, them, because it is they, them. That's the pronouns they want to use. They're non-binary. And for a really good reason, which she explains towards the end of the book. I can't say nothing else. Spoilers. Anyways. Just realized I'm going to have to do this on Instagram too, but live. Yay. What else? Oh, just the way that she uses light and dark, yin and yang, to balance everything. It's wonderful. And some of her characters are actually, like, Asian. And I love that. Like, yin and yang. They're obviously Chinese. Kasai, he's Japanese. I thought Jardin was French at first. But he's apparently Australian. Which made so much more sense when she told me that. Because all of a sudden I was picturing this guy, this French guy going, "Oh, I've come to life." Oh, you know? So, but anyways, I love Tulia. She has a character named Tulia, and she reminds me of, you know that Luma in the Super Mario Brothers movie? The new one? That's always talking about death. That's who Tulia reminded me of. Oh my gosh. She was hilarious. S.L. Vaden has a wonderful sense of humor. There have been many times where I laughed out loud in my head, chuckled, but I'm just thinking of some other funny parts that I can't share. But anyways, it's a really, really good book. And it took me about 2 weeks, week and a half, I would say, to read. Because of how thick it is. Look at that, baby. I like thick books and I cannot lie. You others brothers can't deny. When a book walks in with an itty bitty spine, you get stunned. Anyways, sorry for that flashback. Of the early 2000s. I really don't know who sings that song. I was a kid when that song came out, so I never learned who sung it. I just know that it was popular and that everybody sang it, and it was in Shark Tale. So, anyways, I love the messages throughout her books that she weaves about protecting the environment, loving Mother Nature, protecting our earth, caring about it. She even has a couple parts actually, that I will actually read. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I just, you know, as an author, I'm not very good at oral storytelling. I'm better at proofreading my stories. But when you do it in real life, it's like, can't take back what I said. So, let's see. One of the things that stuck out to me was this passage. Live life well, a voice said through the whiteout in front of them. Do not take more from the elements than what is needed. Live in peace, and look to one another in kindness. A darkened light will fade from your world, but before that happens, many will be overcome with fear. Do not let it spread, or it will ignite like wildfire, leaving nothing in its wake. Future generations will look to you three. You must be strong and understanding. Times will be tough, but lean on one another and your people. I love it. It resonates with me. That whole paragraph, it just resonates with me. And because for me personally, I have asthma, and I have been living in a world where there is a lot of haze, a lot of inversion from refineries and factories and from what we've been putting into the air for the last 100 years. And for me to have that personally, hold on. Recording in progress. Sorry. And for me personally, to hear that, to see that reflected in a book, you know, how do I say this? I'm not very good at talking. As you can tell, I get nervous. Every day is a struggle to breathe without using my inhaler. And sometimes I have to use this machine called a nebulizer. And what that does is that it's basically liquid air that I have to breathe. And I have to breathe it for an hour. And I wish I could live in a world where I didn't have to do that. I have never in my life seen a blue sky. Sure, there's a blue sky, but I've never seen a crystal clear one. Not like ones that people 100 years ago would have seen, or people 200 years ago would have seen. I've never ever gazed upon one. Not without at least a little bit of haze in it. And so that's why for me personally, I try to care about the environment as much as possible. Even though I do throw away plastic and everything, I try to make sure that it's empty, that there's nothing in it. And the thing about recycling though is that most of what you put into recycling bins doesn't get recycled. Because if it has detergent or any kind of chemical liquid in it, it's automatically a throwaway, which is really sad to me. But there is a lot that you can do on your part. You can upcycle things. And what that means is instead of throwing them away, you can give them to thrift stores or donate them to Goodwill. Or like for plastic bags, I actually had one of these when I was a kid. You can actually crochet plastic store bags, like from Walmart, Target, doesn't matter, into a rug. I used to have one, and I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it tore or something, but that thing was sturdy. When you put all the plastic stuff together, it is a sturdy material. Dang, I wish I knew what happened to that rug. It was so cool. It was waterproof, too. That's what was cool about it. And you know, upcycling things I think is a lot better because you're making something old into something new. And that will help our environment greatly. It will reduce it. I watched a video the other day of where our rubber tires go, and most of them end up in Africa. And there's this guy in Africa. I don't know which part. It was an Instagram reel. I'm so sorry. This guy made shoes out of rubber tires. And I thought, that is a cool way of upcycling. Seriously, that is legit cool. And I feel like it, not just reduce, but reuse. We need to reuse more, not just reduce. Our carbon footprint on this planet is so large right now. It takes a thousand years to disintegrate plastic completely. I'm not talking about the store bags either. I'm talking about plastic bins, the hard plastic you find on 6-packs, whatever it is, whatever your preference. And just like hard plastic, like say a Barbie doll. Take 1,000 years for that to disintegrate completely. Isn't that horrible? Anyways, I just love books like this that care about the environment and spread that message of love and to love one another and show kindness in all that you do. And that's the reason why I love Zelkova. She's like the Lorax. She speaks for the trees, but also the other elements. But it has an epic ending. And dang it, I wish I could tell you, but I can't. I don't want to spoil it. But, yeah. It's worth the read. You won't be disappointed. It's worth the buy. You can find it on Amazon. She also has a Zazzle. She also has products on Zazzle that you can buy if you're like a really big fan of Zelkova like I am. Like mugs, cards, keychains, bags. I just ordered a bag from Zazzle right now. And it's gonna be here soon. Can't wait to show it off and everything. Get it, you know. Anyways, show her some love. Buy her books. They're worth it. They're really worth it. And for my Christian viewers, there is no sex, no swearing in these books. It's like reading a Tolkien or a T.A. Barron book. And that's what I loved about it. It reminded me of T.A. Barron's books. I love that. Plus, she has such strong female leads. Oh my gosh, I love it. Anyways, I hope you found this video very useful. Stay tuned for my next one.